Check one, check two, check one, check two, check one, check two. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? This is your boy Clint Cash, and this is the Power Gift channel. On this particular one, this is very dear to me because this is very important when we dealing with ascending and actually mastery and actually growing to get to higher dimensions. This video I want to talk about attachment because this is very key. Attachment, when you are attached to things in the physicality, you are basically it's not your demise, but it's your cycle. What do I mean by that? It means that you will be going a circle, and one circle over and over and over and over again. That's why a lot of people believe in reincarnation. And for the people that don't believe in reincarnation, let me just break it down to you. Even in your life right now, you are indulge in reincarnation every time you get up. It's just a smaller realm of it. Basically, you just going in a circle. If you go back to my video where I talk about the power of deja vu, you see deja vu throughout your whole life until you master whatever you need to master and go on to greater heights. So with that being said, the reason why these cycles exist because you are attaching to something that you need to detach from. That's the purpose. And the more that you attach yourself to it, well, guess what? You just reincarnating the problem. So it's not just reincarnation of life, it's reincarnation of the problem. You'll say, okay, Clint, so what's the solution? The solution is to figure out the problem. And the problem can only be identified by you. But let's get this understood. Sometimes people don't know what the problem is. Let's just be clear. And that's fine. When you get in that situation where you don't know what the problem is, well, guess what? It's your purpose to find out the problem. I just had a conversation with my mom today, my spiritual mom, about these psychiatrists. A lot of times they'll take your money. Simple. And the reason why they'll take your money is because the simple fact of you don't even know what's wrong with you. If you don't know what's wrong with you, a lot of times, a lot of 9 out of 10 chances, they don't know either. They can sit up here and figure it out and reflect it back onto you to get an answer from you for you to say, okay, you know what? Yes, you just figure out my problem. But if you're a person that don't understand yourself and don't know your problem, well, guess what? They don't either. They just taking your money. Because one thing about psychology, for them to even work with you or deal with you or solve the problem, you have to know what the problem is. But a lot of times people go to them and don't know what the problem is, and that's fine. So you have to use people sometimes to know, to relate to people to find out what the problem may be, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that at all, and that's why you have 7 billion people on this earth to relate. Even though sometimes we just don't relate, and that's fine too. It's nothing wrong with that too. But remember this: we all are one. Sometimes we have different perspectives on how to get to the one. That's why you got different religions and things of that nature. But in this video, I want to talk about attachment. You have to learn how to detach yourself. This is part of mastery, learning how to detach yourself from things in the matrix. This is very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. And the reason why is very difficult. It could be detrimental to a normal person because of the simple fact. a lot of times we attach ourselves to people. Now, I don't even want to get on people attaching themselves to materialistic things. It's no way in there's no way in hell you should be attaching yourself to materialistic things. I'm gonna just tell you this now. People can argue with me all they want. If you attach yourself to materialistic things, you are doing a great discern to yourself. Period. And that could be hard. Let's go into that. Because one of the things, attachments that people make the mistake of attaching to is careers. Yes. Work. And really, work is not just work. Sometimes you will turn work into your own career. So a lot of people want to use the word work. Well, I'm going to work. Well, if you've been working in that same place for 15 years, guess what? That's a career. A lot of times we attach ourselves to that. But let me say this. A lot of times work, careers can be our fulfillment. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But still, with mastery, you got to learn how to not connect and attach yourself to that. You got to remember that you are a true spirit. That's very important. And that only thing that is attached is the physicality of yourself, which is flesh. That's the only thing that is attached. You are living in the physical world doing physical things. Remember that. Your soul, your emotions, most important, your soul and your spirit should not be attached to anything but the true high. And whatever you attach yourself through, the spirit and emotions, whatever, should only be attached to something that connects to the true high. Which we talk about oneness. Now that we talked about material things, because it's not just cars and stuff like that. Like I said, one example can be careers. Now we're talking about people. You are here to learn from people and to teach people. To learn from people and to turn around and transfer that energy, being the alchemist, and teach people and put it out. So you're taking energy from people, you're putting it right back out. It's the purpose here. To attach yourself to a situation, to a person, is detrimental to yourself. Also, it can be detrimental to that person. Also, because attachment to someone has nothing to do with having connection with them. And when we do have that interaction with someone, it's not even attaching no more. It's just bonding and connecting. The terms or whatever switch. And it's a difference between attaching to someone. And it's fine. You know, we give our attachments to things. We got to learn how to know how to detach too. Because it's going to happen. I mean, we're only human. We are here to attach and detach. But most importantly, learn the lesson when we detach from people. But a lot of times, we attach and detach and wait for them to attach back. That's when you call a bond a connection. Because I see it all the time. I see, especially in relationships, you got people that try to manipulate the relationships. They try to manipulate them. They try to make a person love them when they don't even have connection within themselves. They try to reach on to people to attach to. Now, let's go into that. Because that can be a main factor. Because of the simple fact, now let's talk about, we talked about attachment, detachment, physical wise, materialistic wise. We talked about attachment, detachment, relating to someone else wise. Now let's talk about attachment, detachment within the self. This will become with our desires. And desires, I once said again on another video, has a lot to do with our addictions. Our addictions is something that we attach to. In true mastery, you have to learn how not to attach to things, to your desires. A lot of times, and desires are not bad, but I'm going to say this. Your desires, whatever desire you choose to do, like I was going back to talking about the working. Some people work, and it's so fulfilling for them to work. It keeps them. Some people keep them out of trouble. You might have a person that been in, that ran the streets, whatever, and working actually keep them out of trouble. Don't get me wrong on that. So let's go back to attachment of self on the desires. Your desires are not bad. If your desire push you to higher purpose, and you know that it's pushing you to higher purpose, and you feel it. A lot of times, a lot of people cannot tell you that. That's why you hear a lot of stories of people saying, this is my heart was into, and people are telling me not to do it. Why did they ignore everybody else around them? And why did they become successful? Because they know that that desire that they had was going to push them to higher purpose. And I'm also say this too, don't be scared of higher purpose. Because one thing about the universe is changing. Energy changes, it transfers to something greater. You might have a person that might have been going after a desire for a very long time. And they may get to that desire. And guess what? They figure like that desire don't no longer serve them. A lot of people break down after that. Seriously. Because I understand it. I'm not going against it. I'm just trying to help people as well as they help me with this. Because a lot of times when you reach to your desire and it's not what you think it is, it's no longer serving you, you like, man, I'm lost all over again. And there's nothing wrong with being lost. That's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing wrong with being lost. Sometimes you have to get lost again to refine yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a process that you're going to go through. Not now. It's going to come eventually, even in the next lifetime. Even if it's not on this earth. And people need to understand that too. Reincarnation. I believe in reincarnation because I believe that your soul is a living entity. It's finity. The body may die, but that soul and that spirit is still going on. It's still in the learning process. I don't know why people don't understand that. Especially if you believe in the heaven and hell. So one thing about self, you have to learn how to attach and detach. And the main thing when you're dealing with self, the most important thing is learning how to let go. That things that don't serve you, even if it served you back then. That's a big mistake we make. That's a huge mistake we make. Even I. We think, okay, 2-3 years ago, this was my purpose. And we try to go back to that and find out, okay, this is not my purpose. We need to understand that and move on and try to lose ourselves again and refine ourselves again. Death and rebirth. Death and rebirth. But the thing with ourselves is learning how to use our desires in a good way to get to higher purpose and keep climbing that ladder. Learning how to, and that's how you master your desires too. Just basically not being attached to it. Knowing its purpose for what it is. And I'm going to use my analogy. I'm going to use analogy on this. It's just like if you was in grade school. Let's say you was in the 4th grade. Would you keep still being in the 4th grade because you passed it? Just going to keep repeating the 4th grade over and over and over and over again. Because it worked out for you. Well, guess what? You're in the 4th grade. I think you're like 9 years old in the 4th grade. 9 and 10 years old. So now you're 18 years old and you're still taking courses in the 4th grade. That's going to become quite boring to you. It's time to let go. You gonna hey, you got to move on to the fifth. You can't be in this fourth no more. You're too big. It's the same thing with attaching and detaching and dealing with desires within itself. And I want to just go back to talking about the attachment and detachment when we dealing with relationships with people, because the biggest thing about attachment with people is our kids, our siblings, and our parents. That is the huge thing that man, we have hard time dealing with, even myself. But you got to know within yourself that you did what you can do, and you got to know that you can't attach to people like that. You just you can't do it, because the thing, when you have two energies that's not binding together like we was talking about, then basically you have a leech, and it's someone or a vampire. You got someone sucking the energy out of someone else. That's what's going on when you do that. That's why it's very important to learn how to detach from people, because you attach to people, and basically you're allowing them to suck the energy right out of you. And guess what happens to them? That energy that they sucked out of you went into them, become waste, because they don't even use it. They just transfer it to something else. So a lot of times you have to question what is positive and what's not when attaching to things. And I know I went backwards. I went to materialism to people to self. Backwards. But I'm going to say this should start with self, learning how to detach from self, learning how to detach from people, and learning how to detach from materialistic things. Remember those three things. So I just want to say, man, thank y'all for listening to this channel. Y'all can disagree with me. Y'all can leave a comment in the comment section. Fine, let's talk, let's debate. Because my whole thing is I want to get feedback from people, because I want to learn too. My whole thing, I don't really conversate with people like this on my level, but besides my mother. But I need y'all opinions too. So I just want to say love and peace, man. Y'all have a blessed one.